Hello friends, welcome to the world of e-learning. I am Rajiv Mehra, working as assistant professor in the Department of Agriculture Extension with the background of agriculture knowledge. Here I am providing online free coaching through my lecture video. Please go through it to enhance and increase your knowledge. From any place, anytime, now you can learn through my lecture video.
Hello friends, today we will discuss about the communication. In this chapter, we will discuss the basic concepts which are related to communication. Then we will discuss meaning, then definition, then basic functions of communication, then models of communication, then elements of communication, and what are the barriers and types of barriers involved in communication we will discuss at the last. Okay. So firstly, we will discuss the basic concepts are related to communication. The communication has at least three phases. It consists of three phases. What are those? The first is your expression, then interpretation and response. These three consist the three phases of communication. If any hinders in these three phases, then there will be no successful communication. Okay, there will be no successful communication will occur. If the expression is not clear and interpretation is not accurate and response is not logical, then one's effort to communicate will not succeed. Okay, as it is difficult to control how an audience shall interpret the message and respond to it, a powerful communication effort by the extension agent must be constantly exerted and should continuously work on it. Okay, so first we will discuss the frame of reference. What is frame of reference? As you all know that each person has a stored experience of beliefs and values as an individual and also as a member of the society. This says that this every people in this world has a stored beliefs. They have own beliefs and also they have beliefs as a member of a society. And it provides what? It provides background of stimulation which influences a person's behavior in a particular situation. Different situation they behave differently according to their background of stimulation. Okay, what they have in their experience, what they have experienced before, according to they behave to different situation. Okay, just like when a village people go to a city, they see different types of culture, dressing style of people, and they think that this is not good or this is not this is maybe good or bad. They say according to their stored beliefs. Okay, they judge that that is the modern style in the city is good or bad, their culture is good or bad. They judge according to their own belief. Okay, just like if you want to understand of e-banking of village people, then if you want to understand and teach the e-banking to some village people, then they will not listen you. Why? They think that this may be his or her bank money will be misused, so they will not listen you. They think that this is according to this thinking comes from where? This thinking comes from their own stored beliefs, what they previously gained. Okay, the functionally interrelated external and internal factors operating at a given time constitute the frame of reference of the ensuing reaction. Okay, external and internal factors both operate at a given time and constitute the frame of reference. Okay, next come to communication fidelity. What is communication fidelity? Communication fidelity, according to Wallow 1960, Wallow has given the definition of fidelity. According to him, fidelity FIDELITY, fidelity is the faithful performance of communication process by all its elements. Okay, What are the elements? That is your communicator, message, channel and receiver. Okay, he told that the faithful performance of what? Faithful performance of communication process. As we know, the communication process involves so many elements, that is your communicator message, channel, receiver. So it required what? Their faithful performance. They should work perfectly, so that the fidelity will come. And another thing, that is noise is opposite to the fidelity. Noise and fidelity are two sides of the same coin, means they are opposite to each other. If noise is decreases, then fidelity will increase, and vice versa. Okay, noise is indirectly proportional to the fidelity, and fidelity is also indirectly proportional to the noise, we can say. Then if fidelity will be increased, if noise is decreased, then the basic concern related to noise and fidelity is the isolation of those factors within each of the ingredients of communication which determine the effectiveness of communication. Means the basic concern of this fidelity and noise is what? To isolate that factors. We have to isolate that factors which determine that effectiveness of communication, so that we will able to know which factors is affecting the communication. Okay, accordingly we will increase the communication effectiveness. Okay, next come to communication gap. Communication gap is nothing but the difference between what was communicated by the extension agent and what has actually been received by the audience. Okay, it is just the difference, the gap between what has actually received by the audience, what has, and what was actually communicated by the extension agent. Okay, desirable action by the audience cannot take place if there is a large communication gap. If large communication gap, then we will not get any desirable action by the audience. Okay, the nature of communication gap may be of two types. The nature of communication gap is of how many types? Two types. That is, first is the message does not reach the target. First one is what? The message does not reach the target. And second one is what? If the message reached, but no, it cannot able to impact. It cannot able to it fails to produce the desired impact. Then also there will be large communication gap. So these are the two types of nature of communication gap. Okay, the following steps may be taken for reducing the communication gap. What are the steps? We will know what are the steps which are helps to reduce the communication gap. Communication must be made available, and it should be made available in according to need based and in time. Okay, and also we can use so many channels at a time. We can use so many channels, not only one. We will use so many channels, so that your communication will be effective. Okay, second, to reduce the second nature, what is that? When the message fails to produce the impact. If it is reached, but it fails to produce the impact. So for this condition, what we will do? We will do what? We will use credible channels of communication. Credible channels means what? That should be trustworthy. Trust channel we should use. That should be trustworthy. The channel which you will use, that should be trustworthy. Then we repeat the message at suitable interval. Again and again we will repeat the message. Then prevent distortion of message. We will prevent what? Disturbance in message, distortion, their deletion or addition of another words, extra words, that is not required, then distortion of message, deviation from message, that should be prevented. Okay, then come to the next, fourth one is your time lag in communication. What do you mean by lag? Lag means delay. Lag mean lag. Lag means what? Delay. It While communication reduces time lag, the communication process itself may involve some time lag. There may be delay in getting the relevant information in the form of message and treat the message according to channel requirement and needs of the audience. Okay. There may be delay in organizing extension programs. There may be what? Delay in organizing extension programs. So many here you can see that time lag occurs due to different types of organization programs. Different sometimes spent in contacting the channels, and the channels themselves may require some time to attend to the message in view of their preoccupations. Then the communicator has to remain alert and take into consideration. Okay, here it is saying that time lag in communication, so many disturbance, so many time will be taken by different processes. So we have to arrange such situation. The communicator has to arrange such situation, and time fix have to fix the time in such a way that it should reach the audience in time. Okay, then come to your empathy. What is empathy? Empathy is the ability on the part of one person to understand the other person's internal frame of mind and reference and accept the same. This acceptance does not mean agreement. Okay, empathy means what? It just the ability of one person to understand the other person's internal frame of mind, internal frame of reference. Here one person able to understand the internal frame of reference of another person and accept the same. Acceptance doesn't mean the agreement. It is not an agreement. It just accept the things. And empathy is also defined according to Rao in 1993 as the ability of an individual to project oneself into the role of another person, to be able to appropriate the feelings, thinking and actions of another person. Okay, empathy is what? Empathy is it just project oneself. It is the ability of an individual to project. We just act as another person. We just roll as another person. Okay, and appreciate the feelings, thinking and action of those person to whom we are acting. Okay, to whom we are just projecting ourselves, to their feelings, thinking and actions. Okay, then come to homophily and heterophily. Fifth one is your homophily and heterophily. Fifth one is what? Homophily and heterophily. Homophily, according to Rogers 1995, a fundamental principle of human communication is that the exchange of ideas occurs most frequently between individuals who are alike or homophilous. The people who are of same type, if the people are same type, then the exchange of ideas will be easier. It will be easier. And just like homophily and heterophily, two terms comes. Homophily means the degree to which a pair of individuals who communicate are similar in certain attributes. Okay, homophily means what? It is the degree to which a pair of individuals who communicate are similar in certain characters, certain attributes. Which are the characters? That is your beliefs, education status and the alike. Just like you all are the students, suppose, and you all have the same knowledge level. You all have the same knowledge level, so that the exchange of ideas, beliefs will be somewhat easier as compared to this you and the farmers of the villages. Okay. And another thing is heterophily. Heterophily is opposite of homophily. Heterophily is what? Opposite to the homophily, and is degree to which pairs of individuals who interact are different in certain attributes. Okay, it is homophily is what? That is similar in certain attributes, and heterophily is what? Dissimilar in certain attributes, different in certain attributes or characters. Okay, just like it's in if just like you and the farmers, if you go to the if farmers come and read with you, then we can say that the audiences are of heterophilous. And also in farmers also you can just see the farmers, there is heterophilous, they are heterophilous somewhat, because all are farmers, but there is so many age difference, their knowledge level is knowledge level is very so much gap is there in their knowledge level. If someone is reading so much high educational education, just like a law doctor, that may be a farmer. And some people, some farmers may be in that village, it's village maybe they cannot read and write also. Okay, there is so we can say that they are heterophilous, their education status is different. Okay, their age is different, so their beliefs is also different. Maybe one community in community farmer is different from the another community farmers in beliefs. Okay, then come to agricultural knowledge and information system, AKIS. Okay, agriculture knowledge and information system. Farmers use many different sources, including their own, to obtain knowledge and information they need to manage their farms. Okay, they use what? Different sources to obtain knowledge. Just like they from the research institute, they go to the research institute and collect some bulletins and also different materials and get knowledge. These constitute agricultural knowledge and information system for an area or for a group of people, and comprise what? Other farmers, government extension organization, private companies selling inputs and buying the produce, banks. Okay, then and also cooperatives, other government agencies and marketing boards, leaders and elected representatives of the people, farmer organization, farm publication and mass media, voluntary organization, etc. From different sources it collects information and gain knowledge, and it constitute what? It constitute the what? It constitute knowledge, agriculture knowledge and information system. Okay, then come to perception. What is perception? Perception is, according to Gibson 1959, he defined perception as the process by which an individual maintains contact with the environment. It's just a process. Perception is what? Perception is nothing but a process by which individual maintains a contact with the environment. Collat, Blackwell and Angel, another definition given by Collat, Blackwell and Angel in 1970, that perception as the process. Perception is a process whereby an individual receives stimuli through the various senses and interprets them. Through various senses means eyes, nose, 5 senses we have. So different senses like eyes, nose and touch, then taste, all these things are our sense. So through these senses we just receive stimuli and from the environment, whereby an individual receives stimuli through the various senses and interprets them, and we just interpret that senses. Okay, then perception of the same situation may differ from individual to individual due to differences in their experiences and ways of looking into it. It differs from person to person. Okay, as every person have a different experience. Okay, the expectation needs, and ways of thinking influence how an individual interprets what is observed. Okay, what influence how an individual interpret the three things? What are the three things? That is your expectations, needs, and ways of thinking. Okay, perception is selective and we perceive what we want to perceive. Okay, perception is selective and we just receive only those things which we want to perceive. Okay, our perception organized and we tend to structure our sensory experiences in ways which make sense to us. Perception is influenced by the environment. Perception is influenced by the environment in which communication takes place. Okay, it is not the intrinsic quality or attribute of an object, individual, or message, but how people individually and collectively perceive them is important for extension. Okay, next come to the ninth one is your propaganda, publicity, and persuasion. What is propaganda? Propaganda is deliberate manipulation of beliefs, people's beliefs, values, and behavior through words, gesture, images, thoughts, music, etc. Okay, it just manipulate the people's belief, and it's aimed at propagating beliefs and values of the propagandist and presents only communicator's side of arguments without considering the arguments of the receiver side. It don't consider the receiver side's argument. It just say only his argument. Okay, what he is telling, that is only will be accomplished, and he will not listen in this propaganda. They will not listen what the feedback or argument, the argument of the receiver. Okay, then come to publicity. Publicity is based on truth. Publicity is based on truth, and propaganda often suppresses the truth. Propaganda often suppresses what? The truth, but publicity is based on truth. One-sided communication, giving viewpoints of only the message, that is your source message. Okay, source, ignoring the viewpoints of the receiver of the message may sound propaganda despite the message being based on truth, whether it may be truth. Okay, if it is truth, something where you are publishing, that is truth, that doesn't mean that it is publicity. If it does not receive the what, the receiver side, then we will call as propaganda. Then propaganda is often authoritarian in approach in influencing the people. We can say that authoritarian approach is propaganda style, where they influence the people through propaganda style. Okay, on the contrary, persuasion. Next come to persuasion. Persuasion is more democratic in influencing the audience to bring about change in their attitude and behavior. This is the act of causing say that in extension. In extension agent, what they do, they show the benefits, advantages of some technology, and they create such situation so that the people will accept them. Okay, then come to development communication. What is development? Development is the improvement in the what? Social change. And social change, how it will improve? By socio-economic status. If the socio-economic status improve, then their development will be done. Okay, so development, if development involve communication, then we will call as development communication. Communication, as you know, communication involves what? Computers, telecommunications, internet. Just like if they involve development, if involve communication technology, then we call as development communication. Okay, then come to communication network. What is communication network? communication network is nothing but it consists of interconnected individuals who are linked by pattern flows of information. Here the flow of information is done, okay, in a pattern manner. In a pattern the information is flows, okay, from one to others. The network interconnectedness of an individual in a social system is positively related to the individual's innovativeness, according to Rogers 1995. Okay, next come to referendum. What is referendum? Referendum is a direct vote. It is a direct vote in which an entire electorate is invited to vote on a particular proposal. Here the total whole people are invited to vote on something one topic only, and there they decide a law. They adopt a law by consenting all the people. They vote here. The all people vote there. It is referendum is also called as plebiscite, 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 or a vote on a ballot question. It is also called as vote on a ballot question. Okay. Next come to second one is meaning of communication. We will discuss meaning of communication. Communication is an English word. Communication is an English word. It is derived from the Latin word communis, which means establishing commonness. It just establishes what? Commonness. Okay, commonness means what? Establishing commonness. Extension worker, if use communication process effectively, then only they get success. Communication main purpose. The main purpose of communication is what? To influence the behavior of individual. Okay, the main purpose of communication is what? To influence the behavior of the people. Then come to definition of communication. Here you can see that this is the picture of J.P. Ligon 1961. Okay, J. Paul Ligon 1961 has given a definition. What? Communication according to Ligon is what? The process by which two or more people exchange ideas, facts, feelings, or impressions in ways that each gains a common understanding of the meaning, intent, and use of message. Then communication is a conscious attempt to share information, ideas, attitudes, and the like with others. Okay, it involves what? How many people? More than two people, two or more than two people. Okay, and what it exchanges? Ideas, facts, feelings, or impressions between those people. Okay, in which ways? Such a way that both have the common understanding and meaning, intent, and use of that message. Okay, then come to second definition given by Hovland in 1964. Another scientist is given what definition of communication. He told that it involves communication. Individual or communicator transmit what? Stimuli. It transmit what? Stimuli, so that it helps in change the behavior. Okay, it helps in changing the behavior of the communicator. Communicator means the ultimate receiver of the message. Okay, it just here add stimuli, transmission of stimuli. Okay, and also next come to communication communication definition given by Rogers and Shoemaker. Here you can it is given in which year? 1971. Here he told that source from source message is transferred to the receiver. Okay, communication is the process by which messages are transferred from a source to receiver. Okay, nothing else. Here just the source, message, and receiver. Here you can see the messenger symbol, message symbol. Okay, just source, message and receiver, three elements. He just Albert Rogers, his name. Here you can see the pictures of Rogers, and his most important books written by him is Diffusion of Innovation, Rogers book. Okay, then come to communication definition given by Vandenberg and Hawkins in 1988. 1988, Vandenberg and Hawkins, or A.W. Vandenberg. Here you can see the picture, Vandenberg, and Vandenberg and Hawkins written a book, Agriculture Extension. And according to him, Vandenberg and Hawkins, another person, both have given what? Which definition? Here he told that he tells that what? Communication is the process of sending and receiving. Here the sending and receiving process is going on. Okay, sending and receiving messages through channels. The sending and receiving of message is going on, which establishes common meanings between a source and receiver. And he just common understanding, common meaning. Okay, common meanings or common understanding is establishes here. Okay, next come to basic functions of communication. What are the basic functions? There are four basic functions of communication. First is your information function, then is your command or instructive function, then influence or persuasive function, then integrative function. What is information function? Information function is the what we'll read first. Okay, the basic requirement of adapting and adjusting oneself to the environment is information. There must be some information about what is going on in the environment which concerns the people. Okay, the getting or giving of information underlies all communication function either directly or indirectly. It just helps us to adapt or adjust oneself to the environment by getting information. Okay, it just gives us information. If we get information about something, then we can easily adjust ourselves to the environment. Okay, then come to command or instructive function. Command or instructive function, you must have listened this word. So what is that function? Those who are hierarchically superior in the family, society or organization often initiate communication, either for the purpose of informing their subordinates or for the purpose of telling them what to do, how to do, when to do, etc. You must have seen in your family also, your father or mother directing you that you just do that, how will do that, what to do, when to do. They instruct you. Okay, they instruct you, they command you that you should not do this, you should do this. Okay, just like that. The command and instructive function of communication are more observable in formal organization than in informal organization. It is saying that mostly it is in just like institution. In family you can say I will not do that to your parents also, but in the institution you cannot say that I will not write the practical records, just like here, I will not attend the class, then automatically you will be punished. So you have to order the you have to obey the order, rules, regulation in formal. It is mostly seen in formal institution. Then come to third one is your influence or persuasive function. Third one is what? Influence or persuasive function. According to Wallow 1960, the sole purpose of communication is to influence people. The sole purpose of communication is what? To influence the people. Okay, we all know sole purpose of communication is what? To influence the people. Persuasive functions of communication, that is to induce people, is extremely important for extension in changing their behavior in the desirable direction. Here in persuasive function, just extension agent go to the village, and if he or she want to transfer in technology, then he just create such an environment where the people of that village just adopt the technology. They gives benefits, advantages of the technology, and so that they get the information. Then fourth one is your integrative function. Fourth one is your integrative function. Here it is telling that a major function of communication is integration at the interpersonal or at the organizational level. Interpersonal or organizational level. Okay, interpersonal or organizational level. This helps to maintain individual, societal, and organizational stability and identity. Okay, here it is telling that major function, it is the major function of the communication, and it involves what? It integrates the person in an organization so that they work together, and your communication will be effective so that your purpose or your aim will be accomplished. Okay, it helps to maintain individual, societal, or organizational stability and identity. Okay. Next come to the models of communication. Here we will read 7 models of communication. Okay. First model is Aristotle model, second is Lasswell models, then Shannon-Weber model, then Scrum model, then your Ballo model, and sixth one is your Liggins model, and last one is your Rogers and Shoemaker models of communication. Okay, one by one we will discuss this. First is your Aristotle model of communication. It is developed in 384 to 322 BC. It is the first basic persuasive communication model. According to Aristotle, there is 3 ingredients, that is your speaker, speech, audience. Speech is also called as message, and audience is nothing but your listener. According to Aristotle, a message preparation involved invention, organization, language, memory, and delivery. Invention is nothing but the finding material to be included in the message. Then your organizing is the arrangement of the material in some persuasive manner. Then language or style is the to fit the speaker and the audience, and memory and delivery is the practice of actual presentation. Next come to second model is your Lasswell model of communication. It is developed in 1948 by Harold Lasswell. Okay, he include 6 ingredients, that is your who says or does not say, then what says what, then in which channel, to whom, then under what circumstances, and last one is your with what effect. Here the communicator and his message are all important. A close look at these questions provides a simple linear one-way model of communication. Although the concept of feedback does not appear in the model, still this model exercised a profound influence on the thinking of scholars in communication. This model helped Lasswell's probes into political communication, propaganda, and political symbolism, which were some of the earliest communication researchers in social sciences. Okay, next come to the Shannon-Weber model of communication, developed in 1949 by Shannon and Weber, and short form is your Shannon Weber model. Short form is your STSRD. Here the 5 ingredients are here in Shannon and Weber model. What are those? Source, transmitter, then signal, then receiver, and last one is your destination. Okay, here Shannon and Weber model, it is the consistent with Shannon and Weber model is consistent with Aristotle proposition. Compared with the Aristotle model, source is the speaker, signal is the speech, and destination is the audience. Plus 2 added ingredients: a transmitter which sends out source message, and a receiver which catches the message for the destination. Okay. Then in Shannon-Weber model also, here in this model 5 key components you can key components, that is your first is your an information source information, an information source which produces a desired message out of a set of possible messages, written or spoken words, picture, music, etc. And second one is your transmitter, which changes this message into signals suitable for transmission. Third one is your a channel, which carries signals from the transmitter to the receiver. Fourth one is your a receiver, a sort of inverse transmitter which transfers the transmitted signals back into a message. And the last one is a destination, the final consumer of the message. Okay, in the process of transmitting signals, some unwanted disturbances such as sound in the case of radio, telephone, or distortions of shape or picture in the case of television, etc., called noise, are also likely to be added. Hence there is need to pay attention to noise. A key problem in this model is how to overcome noise and how much redundancy is necessary so that the receiver can successfully reconstruct a message from signals disseminated by noise. Okay, next come to fourth one is your Scram's model of communication. What is this Scram's model of communication? We will read. It is Scram's models of communication is developed in 1964 by Scrams, and its short form is CSDD. Okay, Scram model of communication include 5 ingredients, that is your source, encoder, signal, decoder, and destination. Here, Scram model of communication is particularly relevant for the mass media. Scram model is relevant to the for mass media. Okay, then here in human communication, it is most important whether people can properly encode or decode the signal or message, that is, and how they interpret it in their own situation. Okay, next come to the here the picture says, here you can see that encoder here the message is encoded into code, and it is transferred through the channels, and to receiver, that is your receiver, your set-top box is your receiver. Here decoding is done, which is coded message is decoded and converted into the understandable messageable form. Okay, and reach to the destination. Okay, next come to the Barlow model of communication. Fifth one is your Barlow model of communication. Here in Barlow model of communication, is developed in 1960. It is developed in 1960. It is also in short form is SMCR, sometimes called, and also sometimes SCMCDR. SMCDR also it is called. Okay. Here the SMCDR means your source, encoder, message, channel, decoder, receiver. Okay, there are six elements. But here the first when developed, it is included four elements, that is your source, message, channel, receiver. Okay, here source should have Barlow told that source should have communication skill, attitude, knowledge, social system, culture, and message should have that element, structure, content, treatment, and code. And channel include what? Channel include your seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, tasting. And receiver is as same as the source quality. The quality of receiver should have that quality, communication skill, attitude, knowledge, social system. Okay, knowledge, social system, and culture. Here in this model, communication is seen as a continuous process in which noise is reduced by a process called feedback. As stated earlier, this model includes 4 elements. Okay, already we have discussed this. Then here Next come to the sixth is your Ligands model of communication that is developed in 1963, and its short form is CMC-TAR. Okay, CMC-TAR. That is CMC-TAR is communicator, message, channel, treatment, audience, and response. It is what? Communicator, message, channel, treatment, audience, response. Okay. Then here it is saying that the task of communication according to him is to provide powerful incentives for change. Successful at this task requires through a thorough understanding of the six elements of communication. A skillful communicator sending useful message through proper channel, effectively treated to an appropriate audience that respond as desired. Okay. Next, come to your last one is your Rogers and Shoemaker model of communication, that is your that is developed in 1971, and the short form of this Rogers and Shoemaker model of communication is SMCRE model. Here he include five elements, that is your source, message, channel, receiver, and effects. What are those source? Here, according to them, a source sends a message via certain channel to the receiving individual, which causes some effects, that is changing the existing behavior pattern of the receiver. Communication in extension may also be thought of as two-way stimulus response. Communication in extension may also be thought of as two-way stimulus response situation in which the necessary stimulus is provided by the communicator. The extension agent, communicator is your extension agent in the form of message, which produces certain response on the audience. The farmer, audience is your farmers, and vice versa. A favorable response by the audience reinforces learning. If favorable response occur, then only your learning will be occurred. Okay. Next come to the elements of communication. In elements of communication, we'll read the Ligands model of communication, that is involved six elements, that is communicator, message, channel, then treatment and presentation, then receiver or audience, and last one is response or feedback. Okay. This is the, here you can see the elements. What are the? First is your communicator, then message or content, message also called as content, channel, then treatment, then receiver or audience, and last one is your feedback or response, audience response. Okay. So here you can see that communicator. Communicator is transferring some. He is the, in the context of agriculture and rural development, extension agent is the communicator who starts the process of communication. The extension agent obtains extension agent obtains the required information from research and carries it to the audience. The audience is your farmers here. Here the audience. Here you just think about, just convert this in our rural area, that is will be your audience will be your farmer in rural development and agriculture sector. The extension agent is the communicator, a carrier of information. The credibility of the communicator and the organization the individual represents is important for effective communication. And credibility means trustworthiness, and competency should be there. Credibility should be there in communicator. Okay, communicator should be trustworthiness, and before the audience accepts any message, it will judge whether the communicator and the organization the individual represents can be relied upon and is competent enough to give the information. Okay, and what is here? He is sending message. The recommendation from research, the technology constitute the content or subject matter. Subject matter is also nothing but your message. Information which is relevant to a particular set of audience constitute the message, whether otherwise for them there is noise. Okay, a good message should clearly state what to do, how to do, then when to do, and what would be the result. To produce desirable changes in human behavior, the message must be motivating. Okay, message which are relevant, interesting, useful, profitable, and credible, latest and best, based on research findings, and complete, neither too much nor too little, are likely to motivate the people. Okay, then come to the channel. Okay, channel is channel of communication, constitute the medium. It is the medium. Channel is what? The medium through which information flows from a sender to a receiver. Okay, sender to one or more receiver. It is face to face. Word of mouth is the face to face. Word of mouth is the simplest and yet one of the most widely used and effective means of communication, particularly for the developing countries. As society changes from traditional to modern, the emphasis shifts from oral to media system of communication. Now it is converted into media system of communication because of the large number of audience or receivers of information, and because of physical distance of communicator and the receiver of information, it is necessary to use different media of communication. Here we can use media of communication to rapid transfer of the information. Even in interpersonal, face-to-face, word-of-mouth communication, it becomes necessary to use some ads to make communication more effective, like your speaker. Okay. Then in channel, here it is the physical bridge or avenue also called. Okay, and here feedback is coming back. And what is channel classification? Channel is classified into three. According to three type of classification, three type, that is, first is your first type of classification form. According to form, it is divided into two types, that is your spoken and written. Spoken is farm and home visit. Second is your farmer's call. Example of spoken, what are the examples? Farm and home visit, then farmer's call, meetings, radio talk, etc. And written include personal letter, farm publications, newspaper, etc. Then come to according to nature of personnel involved. According to nature of personnel involved, these are divided into three parts, that is personal localite, personal cosmopolite, impersonal cosmopolite. Personal localite means what? Personal means that is a person, and localite means that is a from local area. Okay, that is for example local leader. Local leader are from the they are the local leaders and local people who belong to the receiver's own social system. And personal localite channels are important in traditional social system. They are important in where a traditional social system. Okay, they are local, from the local area of that receiver. Then personal cosmopolite, that is person. Personal means that is person, that is a person, but that is not local area. That is outside the social system of the receiver. That is your extension agent. These are the channels of communication. Personal cosmopolite is the channels of communication from outside the social system of the receiver. Okay, remember this one. The most important one is personal cosmopolite, personal localite. Personal localite is the channel of communication which are from the receiver's own social system. And personal cosmopolite is the channels of communication from outside the social system of the receiver. They are the extension agent, various organization and are important in changing the farmers from traditional to modern. Then come to impersonal cosmopolite. That is impersonal. Impersonal means what? Impersonal means that is not a person. Okay, and cosmopolite means outside the social system of the your receiver. So here the channels of communication are from outside the social system of the receiver, and at the same time no personal face-to-face contact is involved. These are mass media. For example, your mass media is not a person, and it is outside the social system of the receiver, which are important in areas high urban influence and farmers who are modern or are changing from traditional to modern. Then come to third classification is nature of contact with people. That is your individual, group, mass. First is individual contact, means extension agent communicates with the people individually, and individually the extension agent meet the people, maintain separate identity of each person. Okay, and what is the example? Farm and home visit, farmer's call, personal letter, etc. They contact individually. And next come to group contact. What is group contact? The extension agent communicates with the people in groups and not as individual person. Okay, here they are contacting people, communicating people in group meeting, for example group meeting, small group training, field day or farmers day, study tour, etc. are the examples of group contact. Then here then what is your mass. Okay, next come to the mass contact. Mass contact, the extension agent communicates with a mass of people without taking into consideration their individual or group identity. Okay, they are not taking individually or group, they are taking people as a mass. For example, mass meeting, campaign, exhibition, radio, television, etc. Then come to the characteristics. Characteristics before characteristic, then come to detail in characteristics of the communicator. Okay, communicator is he should have the skill in message. Okay, he should have skill in message. Which type of skill in message? Which type of skill should have he should have? First is your skill should have selecting message. How he will select the message? Then treating that message, how he will treat the message, select and treat the message. Then expressing message, verbal and written form, how he has to express that message. Then selection and use of channels. Second is your channel, how this he will select the channel and use. Then understanding the audience, how you will understand the audience. Then collecting evidence of results. Okay, then he collect evidence from our results. And he knows what? He knows the objectives. Have them specifically defined. Which are specifically defined. Objects should be specifically defined. And their audience. He should know the audience, their needs, their interest, abilities, predispositions. Okay. Then the message. He should know the message, its content. Message clearly. He should know the message clearly. Message means that is content, validity, usefulness, importance of that message. Then channels, he should know the channels that will reach the audience. Okay. Then organization and treatment of message. Then organization and treatment of the message, he should know how to organize and treat the message. Okay. And then the professional abilities and limitations, he should know the professional abilities and limitations. Then he should be interested in what? Audience and its welfare. Audience and the audience welfare. Then his message and how it can help people, he should know. Okay, he should interested in what? The how the message can help the people. And he should be interested in what? Results of communication and their evaluation also. And he should also interested in communication process, and also interested in how to use communication channel, use communication channels properly, and what are the limitations. And also the improvement of the communication skill, he should be interested in improvement in skill. Okay, improvement in skill. Okay, then he should prepare a plan. He should prepare a plan for communication, a teaching plan. He should prepare a teaching plan. Then he should prepare communication material and equipment also. And also he should prepare a plan for evaluation of results. Okay, and here communicator is the communicator starts the communication process. Okay, remember this. Then come to the message. In message you can see that message, it is also called arguments, appeals, stimuli. Also it also controls the communication process, information. Okay, what are the characteristics of message? Inline, first is your inline, objective to be attained. Okay, inline, the objective should be attained. Objective should be attained in one line. Clear, it should be message should be clear, understandable by the audience, and in line with the mental, social, economic and physical capabilities of the audience. Okay, and it should be significant. Message should be significant economically, socially or aesthetically to the needs, interest and values of the audience. Then specific, it should be specific, no irrelevant material should be there. It should be simply stated. message should be simply stated, cover few pertinent points at a time. Then accurate, its message should be accurate, scientifically sound, factual and current. Then timely especially when seasonal factors are important and issues are current, then the message should be reached. Okay, then supported by, message is supported by factual material. It should contain the factual material covering both sides of the argument. And also message should be appropriate to the channel selected. Then it should be appealing and attractive to the audience, having utility and immediate use. Okay, then your it should be applicable, a message should be applicable, can apply a recommendation to one's own particular situation. Okay, next is your adequate. It should be adequate so that combining principle, adequate to combining principle and practices in effective proportion. Okay, principle and practices in effective proportion. And it should be manageable. Message should be manageable. It can be handled by the communicator and within the limits of time and resource. Okay. Next, come to your characteristics of channel. Okay, here characteristics of channel, it includes a careful direction, then use in right way, then timely, it should be timely and channel, and right job, it should be for right job, right purpose, right audience, and all in relation to the message. Okay, next come to the treatment and presentation. Here treatment means the way, a message is, here you can see that it includes what, the way a message processed to, so that the information gets across to the audience. Okay, information should reach the audience and make message clear, understandable and realistic to the audience. Presentation means how the message is communicated or placed before the audience. Okay, presentation means what? Presentation means the message, how the message is communicated or placed before an audience. Then treatment and presentation depends on what? Depend on the choice of channel and nature of audience. It depend on what? The choice of channel. Treatment and presentation of the channel shall depend to a great extent on choice of the channel and the nature of audience. Then it require treatment and presentation require treatment and presentation of message usually require what? Original thinking, deep insight into the principle of human behavior and skill in creating and using refined techniques of communication. Okay, next come to the, here three categories of basis are useful for varying treatment. First is your matters of general organization, then second is your matters of speaking and acting, and third is your matters of symbol variation and devices for representing ideas. Matters of general organization include what? Repetition, contrast ideas, then it should be chronological, presenting one side only, emotional compared to logical, then starting with strong arguments, it should be start with strong arguments, inductive compared to deductive, then general to the specific, it should be general to the specific, then explicitly drawing conclusion. Okay, these are the these are the character for varying treatment. Okay, first category of matters of general organization. Second category is matters of speaking and acting. Here it includes what? Too many ideas. Okay, it includes what? Too many ideas. Then be yourself, then know the facts, then and don't read your speech. Here it is saying that too many don't use too many ideas at a time. Be yourself. Don't overreact or overconfidence. Okay, know the facts. You should know the facts. Then don't read your speech. When you are presenting, then don't read the thing that is what you are saying want to speak. Okay, don't read that words or sentence. Know the audience. You have to know the audience. Then avoid being condensing. Then decide on the dramatic effect desired. Then use alternative communicators when appropriate. Then audience appeals is a psychological bridge to getting a message delivered, and quit on time, and you have to finish the presentation in time, on time. Okay. And then third category is matters of symbol variation and devices for representing ideas. Okay, how it this is first is your word symbol speech, then real objects. It should be real objects, models, specimens, photographs, graphs, charts, motion pictures, slides, drama, puppet, songs, flashcards, etc. is used for treatment of the message. Okay, then come to the receiver or audience. Receiver or audience. The audience or receiver of the message is target oriented. Target of communication function. Target is the target of communication function. Okay, it is target is source oriented. Okay, then an audience may consist of a single person or a number of persons. Okay, receiver is source oriented, and target of communication function is what? That is your audience. Okay, then an audience may consist of a single person or a number of persons. It may comprise man and woman. Okay, an audience may be man, woman, and youth. It comprises. Okay, an audience may be formed according to occupation groups such as crop farmers, fruit farmers, dairymen, poultry keepers, fish farmers, homemakers, etc. Audience may also be categorized according to some farm size such as marginal, small, medium, or big farmers, or according to whether they belong to scheduled caste, scheduled tribe, etc. Communication to be successful must be target oriented. Okay, the communicator must know the target. Communicator must know the target, their needs, interests, resources, facilities, constraints, and even their approximate number and location. Okay, and communicators characteristics is directly impact the impact on audience. It's homogeneous, then communication will be smooth. Okay, what is audience segmentation? Audience segmentation, according to Rogers, audience segmentation, Rogers 1995, audience segmentation is a communication strategy that consists of identifying certain sub-audience within a total audience and then conveying a special message to each of these sub-audience. First, he just convert the heterophilous audience into the homophilous. If break sub-audience, then it converted into the relatively homophilous sub-audience. Then it will be easy to and helpful to the transfer of message easily. Okay. Then come to last element is your audience response or feedback. That is, audience response is the ultimate objective, is the response to message. Here, response of the audience is the ultimate objective of any communication function. Okay, response of an audience to message received by received may be in the form of some kind of action, mental or physical. Okay, response may be in the kind of some action. It may be in some kind of action, mental or physical. Then, until the desired action results, extension communication does not achieve its most essential objective. The possible kind of response to messages received are almost infinite. Okay, almost infinite. Here it is feedback. Feedback is source oriented. Earlier I have told that is receiver is source oriented. That is not that. Feedback is source oriented, and communication is target oriented. Target is your audience. Okay, feedback is your source oriented. Vary in different situation. Feedback is vary in different situation. Okay, effects. Here feedback, it is telling that extension communication is never complete without feedback information. Feedback means carrying some significant response of the audience back to the communicator. Communication work is not an end in itself. Okay, the extension agent should know what has happened to the audience after the message has reached them. Okay, he should know what has happened after the message transferred. Feedback should be a continuous process, as the audience and communicators are neither always the same person nor they are interacting in this same situation. Okay, the extension agent cell next is your extension agent. Extension agent is extension agent cell take steps to analyze the response of the audience, which may be positive, negative, or no response. If there has been no response or negative response to a message, the extension agent shall find out reasons for the same. If it pertains to research, the problem should be referred as feedback information to research to find out solutions for the same. And what are the characteristics of the feedback? Feedback is, it should be source oriented and varies in different communication situation, varies in, these are the, here you can see that it is the characteristics of the feedback. Source, it should be source oriented, varies in different communication situation, affects the source or communicator, exerts control over future messages, affects communication fidelity, maintains the stability and equilibrium of a communication system. Okay. Next, come to the types and barriers of communication. 6.1 is your types and barriers of communication. Okay, what is communication system plays an important role in the rapid growth of sustainable agriculture. It is the vital bridge that carries the result of research from the laboratory to the field. A steady flow of accurate, understandable, and factual information links the scientist with the farmers. There are some communication barriers which successful and effective communication of new ideas, and it's just some barriers we'll read now. Some barriers which are related to the communicator are different values and customs. Different values and custom, how it is? The communicator disregards the values and customs of the audience due to social status difference. As the social status is difference, he disregards the values and customs. Then that will be a problem. Then use less knowledge. If the communicator has less knowledge about the message itself, its validity and usefulness. Okay, if he is less knowledge, okay, of the message or content. Next, third one is your no audience. If the lack of knowledge about people, their need, interest and ability, if the communicator don't know the audience, their need, people interest and ability, then there will be barrier in communication also. And fourth one is your knowledge on method of communication. Knowledge on method of communication, that is, if he has little knowledge of the method of communication, then there will be a problem. Then come to the next one is your barriers related to message. First is your not applicable, irrelevant, complex, unattractive, not clear. If message is not applicable, here if the message is not applicable, irrelevant, complex, unattractive and not clear, then also there will be a problem, barrier in transmission of information. If it conflicts, if message conflicts with the major values of the audience, if it conflicts what major values of the audience, then also a problem. Then unrealistic, if message is unrealistic in the form of their local skills and resources. Okay, then if message does not, last one is your frame of reference. If message does not have a frame of reference with the previous knowledge, then also there will be problem. Then also will noise is obstruction that prevents the message. Another some points, just remember, noise is obstruction that prevents the message from being heard by or carried over clearly to the audience. Noise is anything in the channel other than what the source puts there. Noise may occur due to many reasons. Okay, wrong handling of the channels of communication affects the fidelity of communication also. If a channel of communication, then just like radio, newspaper, meeting or tour, is not used following the correct procedure, then the purpose of communication will not be fulfilled. Then if wrong selection of channel acts as a hindrance in effective communication also. All channels, it is related to channel. Okay, all channels are not equally suitable for all purposes and in all situations. For example, mass media are useful to create awareness, whereas newspapers are suitable for educated urban people. Okay, mass media is useful for creating awareness, but newspaper are suitable for educated urban people only. If it is wrong channel means if newspaper is given to the illiterate people, then who don't read, cannot read, then it will be unsuccessful. So suitable channel should be selected. Then physical distraction often comes in way of communication. For example, if the extension worker stands in such a way that audience are unable to view the screen while delivering a presentation using projector, communication will be incomplete. Okay, so it is a problem. Then also next last one is using inadequate channels in parallel. If inadequate channels in parallel, then also there will be problem. The more channels a communicator uses at the same time, the more chances are there for the message to get through and be understood clearly. Okay, then what are the barriers related to audience or receiver? Here you can see that barriers related to self-interest. Audience does not have self-interest. Okay, if audience have no self-interest, then also a barrier. He does not have understand the importance of communication. Okay, he cannot understand the importance of communication, then also transfer of communication will be hindered. Okay, then hindrance will occur. Then laggards. If audience is laggards means he is tradition bound and does not adopt a new technology easily. Then last one is fatalistic. Most of the audience are fatalistic and do not believe in skill and knowledge. Okay, then attention of the audience. If attention, that is already self-interest. Okay, if the audience is not attentive to the communicator due to many reasons, physical discomfort, irrelevant message untimely, the message will not be communicated as intended. Need, interest and ability of the audience are also the determinants of audience attention. Then cooperation, participation and involvement are essential to effective communication also. Communication is a two-way process. If communicator and the receiver are not in the same wavelength, effective communication may not be occurred. Okay, then problem of homogeneity and heterogeneity. Effective communication occurs between two homogeneous individuals, whereas heterogeneity hinders the communication. The more an extension workers and his audience are homogeneous, the more impact is likely to occur. Then is your another barriers pertaining to receiver is the attitude of the audience towards the communicator. If the attitude of the audience is favorable, then the communication process will take place suitably well. But if the attitude is unfavorable towards the communicator, then the communication process will be hindered. Okay, if it is the role of communicator to make audience attitude favorable towards him. Okay, other barriers come to other barriers of communication. Some other barriers are here. First is your technical, then semantic, then influential, physical, psychological, cultural, organizational, language, illiterate mass, noise, political, ability to tackle problem. What is technical problem? Technical problems, technical barriers are related to noise problems resulting from the inaccurate transmission and interpretation of the message. If the message is inaccurately transmitted and interpreted, then we can say that is a technical problem. Okay, certain undesirable elements creeping into the process are responsible for this, such as blurred picture, like your blurred picture, then error in transmission leading to distortion of message. Then come to semantic problem. What is semantic problem? Semantic problem are the problems related to the meaning of words and sentences. Even a common word may have several meanings which may lead to misinterpretation of the message. If common word may have several meanings, if one word have several meanings, then also there will be misinterpretation of the message. Okay, if the problems related to meanings of words and sentence, then it is called as your semantic problems. Then come to influential problem. What is influential problem? The problems are concerned with the success with which the message conveyed leads to desirable change in the behavior of the receiver, because the purpose of all communication is to influence the behavior of the receiver. Okay, what is this influential problem? Influential problem is the problem which are concerned with what? The success with which the message conveyed. The success with which message conveyed leads to the desirable change in the behavior of the receiver, because the purpose of all communication is what? To influence the behavior of the receiver. Then come to the physical problem. What is physical problem? These are the problems related to voice and speech of the speaker. If the voice and speech of the speaker is unreachable body and is not audible, then unreachable body language, stage phobia, or fear stage phobia means fear to the stage, or faulty transmission of message by radio station is your physical problems. Then psychological problems. What are these psychological problems? Psychological problems are related to the failure to connect language with the reality, inability to articulate personal experience with that of the audience, etc. Okay, what is psychological problem? Psychological problem are the related to failure to connect language with the reality. Okay, inability to articulate personal experience, then it is with that of the audience, then it is called as psychological problem. Then come to cultural problem. Cultural problems are these problems. Cultural problems are the problems related to the way of communication system. Way communication system is related to the culture, ethical problems in communication, etc. Okay. Next is your organizational problem, then language barrier, different language, then illiterate mass, then noise, political, then ability to tackle problem. Okay, this much only. Thank you.